Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and let's start this off with an interesting tweet that caught my eye. Look at this one. Multimillionaires will be made this month. Anon, the discovery phase of the SEC XRP lawsuit ends on January 14th. It was already extended once, so it is unlikely to be extended a second time. Most cases settle on or shortly after the end of discovery. That is also when the bullish full moon happens. Now look, folks, I'm just reading you this. I'm not saying that I agree with all of it, okay? They got to give these caveats. Furthermore, we are at the local bottom as of now and will at worst crab in this range until the 14th, but likely make a slight upward trend before them as money slowly comes back into the markets. We have 9 days to accumulate before the epic moon golden bull run. Spurred on by XRP winning the lawsuit and being officially recognized as the first SEC legal crypto. If you're an American, you can buy XRP on Uphold. It takes about 30 minutes to have your KYC approved. Good luck and on. Now, I don't know if this is some kind of QAnon thing or what. I don't know what this is. I just thought it was it. Look, here's what I do agree with. I do agree that I'm pretty sure he's right here about the date and that the discovery is over on the 14th. And I do think that that is a significant date. Beyond that, you just take that tweet for what it's worth. I just thought it was interesting and thought you would too. Thailand's crypto traders will have to pay a 15% capital gains tax this year. Anytime we see tax articles regarding crypto, I always remind you about iTrustCapital, because with an iTrustCapital, they're one of my sponsors, and with an iTrustCapital IRA, depending on the type of IRA, if you have a Roth IRA, you don't have to worry about taxes once you have your money in there. As long as you withdraw after age 59 and a half, I believe, those are tax-free gains, folks, and you can trade inside of these IRAs and not incur taxes. It's the only way to go. And I was sitting in my car this morning. I was listening to Howard Stern on Sirius Satellite Radio, and iTrustCapital.com came across the screen and was advertising. And I was like, wow, we are there. Okay, today, Chris Giancarlo was being interviewed. I don't know if he was interviewed today, but I saw this clip today. I went and grabbed this clip. This is what he's predicting Congress/the SEC will do this year.
What we'll see in 2022 is the beginning of evolution of this response. I think that congressmen and women are getting much further up the curve, and the same is happening in the Senate. And I think that's all for the good. And I think you'll see them pushing back in some quarters, to some degree, against the sort of very regressive approach of the SEC in particular. You know, crypto has opened up financial inclusion to far more people. It's captured the imagination of far more young people than Wall Street's been able to do in a generation. And I think this approach of the SEC to investor protection that says that basically it's going to protect you from participating in the most exciting new ventures and limit those to just rich and wealthy accredited investors cuts again, if that sort of a regressive approach cuts against the very sort of progressive approach that crypto is presented. So I'm expecting Congress to get in the game and begin pushing back against that, I think, very harsh approach out of the regulatory state, out of the SEC.
All right. A man speaking a little bit of reason. Now, Dark Defender weighed in today. Hi there all. Since 13th of December, XRP is consolidating between, I'm hot, I'm going to take this off. It's consolidating between 85 cents and 65 cents based on our TA levels. Daily charts are oversold. Weeklies are still pending. By the way, you may not know this about me, folks. I am a fleece guy in the wintertime. Hold on a second. I got to answer this call from my son. Hello. Yep. Okay. I think you do. Okay. He was asking me if he had basketball practice, and I think he does. Okay. Weeklies are still pending for a buy signal. The pattern hasn't. Oh, I was telling you a minute ago, I'm a fleece guy. In the wintertime, my wife yells at me all the time because I will put on a fleece because they're so comfortable to me, and I will wear fleeces all the time. In fact, I have an arsenal of fleeces. I have more fleeces than most people listening to my voice because I'm a fleece guy in the wintertime. I also got some bedroom shoes for Christmas, 2 pairs of them, and I'm becoming a bedroom shoe guy too. Guess I'm getting old. All right, the pattern hasn't been completed yet, and I'm impatient to see this completed. XRP jumps towards $264, $7, $13. He is not coming off of those predictions. He's been saying that for a while. Now, you got to see this, folks. Remember, this is that Vinay Gupta guy who was involved with Ethereum early on. Listen to what he says.
If we were going to actually become functioning parts of the global economy, we had to not allow the space that we were in to be overrun by fraud. Right? Because at that point, you can't make any claim that we created a libertarian environment. What we created, unfortunately, to a very substantial degree, was a criminal environment because we had technologies which could have blocked crime and we didn't use them that way. And as a result, an enormous number of people literally got ripped off from one end to the other. And because all the numbers were going up, a lot of that fraud was just buried in growth in the underlying platform tokens. You lose a bunch of money on an ICO, but you make it back up because your remaining ether is worth 40 times what it was the day before. Those are completely exceptional market conditions, right? And those market conditions, let us not forget, every penny that went in came from somebody else taking a loss, right? These numbers don't just appear from nowhere. A lot of people lost a lot of money in crypto, and that money is what fueled the ICO scams. So we have to think about this in terms of wealth transfer versus wealth creation. Crypto was an enormously effective bubble in terms of wealth transfer. It was a terrible machinery in terms of wealth creation. And I bailed very, very, very early. I haven't held tokens in anything, not even Bitcoin or Ether, in years, because I was so unhappy with the amount of market fixing and price rigging that was going on that I just didn't really want to be making money from those things. Right? When we hit the Dow crisis way back in the day, I looked at the legal underpinnings of what we were standing on and said, there's no way this is going to work. And I divested at that point and remained token clear since then. Now, in this field, that sounds like insanity, right? But if you've got both feet planted in the real world, you have to ask yourself, what is it that is being accomplished that is producing this river of money? And I wasn't willing to profit from the frauds that other people were committing, so I wasn't going to hold their tokens. All right?
Okay. Wow. John Deaton was retweeting this from Bank XRP, the SEC. There's people starting to write articles on this SEC Ethereum free pass. John Deaton said the truth's getting out because because all we're doing is giving facts. Note that these are generally supported. He's giving quotes from the article. Note that these are generally supported by verifiable evidence and or documentation. Still, there's a very apparent conflict of interest here, and one which undermines the SEC's case against Ripple. And then look at this. JP Morgan, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, has a bearish warning for Ethereum. In a recent research note, JP Morgan Chase analyst, whatever his name is, predicted that Ethereum would continue losing its dominance in the decentralized finance sector. In order to, anyway, I won't go into all the details, but the fact that JP Morgan is saying that is a big deal, folks. Now, I wanted to show you this too, because it's important, and I keep reiterating. In this market that we have, it's not just digital assets. It's picks and shovels, folks. It's the private equity. The Block did research and did their 2022 predictions. I wanted to show you this, what this guy had to say. If I can find him. Oh man, maybe I passed him. I may have passed. Let's see. Let me go slow. I'll know his name when I see it. Let's see here. There's a lot of them. Gee, they got a freaking lot of people weighing in on their opinion. Well, let's see. I swear, where did it go? I haven't seen the guy's name yet. I'll notice it one sec. Well, this is just not good. Hold on a sec. Wasn't that one. Wasn't that one. Wasn't that one. I wonder if I jumped over him or something. Not that one. Well, come on. This is very rare. Oh, there he is right there. He says, traditional PE VC firms became far more active in crypto in 2021 as private investment increased to $25 billion from just $3 billion in 2020. That's really what I wanted you to see. The private investment, private equity went from $3 billion to $25 billion from 2020 to 2021. And that is why I keep touting what Link2 is doing, folks. They are a sponsor. I am a customer. In fact, here in the next few weeks, I'm planning on buying more Link2 shares. At $3, I consider that a steal. It is for accredited investors, but these are blockchain. I'm focused on these blockchain crypto related plays like Ripple, Kraken, Link2, Uphold. Okay. But right now, Link2, from what I can tell, is doing extremely well with what they're like iTrustCapital. They're doing extremely well, and so that's what I'm focused on. But go check it out, and you can go and sign up for an account and find out if you're accredited. You need to search and find out what that means exactly too. Finextra, company announcement, Tranglo, which is a Ripple partner, opens payments corridor to Hong Kong. XRP Bart sent me this one. Rosie Rios, who's on the board at Ripple. I can't remember if she's on the board or an advisor, which. But anyway, this is the woman who has her name, her signature. She was with the Treasury, has her signature on many of the physical dollars that are actually in your pocket. She says, in 2012, I recommended the theme of democracy to represent the redesign of our nation's currency. This was approved by Secretary Tim Geithner and still remains in place. Who would have imagined the relevance for our country and our world today? Well, that's interesting. All right, look who showed back up today, folks. Hodor, who used to write the Hodor blogs for the XRP community. This guy is an OG, okay? Well, apparently he's a little irritated with the free speech issue that's going on Twitter where they're trying to silence different people, and he says accept no substitutions for free speech. Then he opened himself a Gab account. He actually said this to X. He says XRP people are the best. Every single member of the XRP community is a great critical thinker or else a grand out of the box dreamer. I miss my blogging days sometimes. So he did do some good stuff. Now, many of you that have been around for a while heard a long time ago where I was playing you videos from Jim Rickards about what Jim Rickards called ICE 9. And that's what this reminded me of. This was on the Glenn Beck show recently. Watch this.
I want to quote some things here. The banks are appealing for emergency liquidity assistance in a multitude of currencies to put to a halt the chaos as counterparties withdraw their funds and limit access to liquidity, leaving the banks in disarray and ruin. The participants discussed multilateral policies to respond to the crisis, including a coordinated bank holiday. A bank holiday, when they say coordinated, throughout the entire West, not just the Western Hemisphere, the entire West, all countries. Debt repayment grace periods, swap repro agreements, and, listen to this, coordinated delinking from major currencies. What does that mean?
I think that means they're trying to figure out a way to roll out an international currency. That's what I think it means. Probably an international digital currency, which is something that people in the Great Reset movement, like Mark Carney, who is heavily involved in many of these meetings that's been going on in Glasgow and elsewhere with the World Economic Forum, I believe that that's what they ultimately want, and that they're looking for a way to try to make this happen. And I think that they're running different scenarios for how this could occur, and these so-called cyber attacks and fake news, the proliferation of fake news causing some kind of financial catastrophe, supposedly, are some of the scenarios that they're thinking could be used as a way to roll out an international currency. I think that's the only way to understand what a coordinated delinking from major currencies is.
What does that mean to the average person, their savings, their salary, and everything else, if there's, quote, a major delinking from major currencies?
Well, what we've seen in the past is anytime there has been a switch to a currency, when they've gotten rid of an old kind of currency and they've moved to a new sort of currency,
and this is,
every time we've seen this, people lose 50% of the value of their money, essentially. Sometimes more. That's when.
Why does that sound like XRP to me? Remember, they mentioned Mark Carney. There's two things I know about Mark Carney. One is that Mark Carney was a paying customer of Ripple. And the second thing I know about him is that he's on the board of Stripe. Do you know who the first investor in Stellar was? That would be Stripe. And do you know that for their investment, they took, as I recall, 2% of the XLM supply? That is the fact, Jack. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that is the fact, Jack. Thank